Okay, here is my first attempt at a model video for something that I have in progress. So, as you can see on the box, I've got the Takom Ratte. This is a model that was built on Gross Models a little while back. I'll have a link to that below, so that way you can see what a regular build-up of the kit looks like. I am not going to be doing a regular build-up. I don't think I actually have that in me on a biological level. This is going to be highly modified. And so, here is what I've got in mind for this beast. So first off, if you're not familiar with this kit, this is a 1/144th scale replica of a tank that was drawn up but never constructed by Nazi Germany during World War II. The top part, the cannon, was actually intended to be a battleship gun. Here, for size contrast, is a 1/144th scale soldier. This would have been by far the largest tank on Earth, and it also probably wouldn't move very far because it would have sunk into the ground. Here is a model of a mouse tank that I believe they did start prototyping these, but they didn't go into production. This would have been the largest tank on the battlefield in World War II if they had gone into production. This was just an absolute monster, and it looks like you could fit like a dozen inside this giant thing. So yeah, that's just the ridiculous scale that we're looking at here. Now, as for my plans, I am not that much of a history guy, and the idea of doing something that can look almost like it's saying, hey, look at these cool Nazis, it just kind of makes me sick. So there's no way I'm doing this as a stock build. I am going to modify this in a way that makes it palatable for me. And this actually idea is why I bought the kit in the first place. So the introduction to what it shall be is the top of the turret. There you go. This is going to be a Hydra tank. This totally fits with the over-the-top crazy aesthetic of the MCU vehicles that Hydra had, like that giant flying wing thing. And as you can see, I've already got the ladders attached on. I put some little platforms under the doors there, and then I glued this on. This is a metal pin that I had gotten for cheap online, and so that fit like really nicely. So that's been glued on. I'm going to fill in this back here so that way that's a much smoother transition. And then I also have it wired up so that way the eyes light up, of course, because, well, why wouldn't you? I'm also going to build a cannon that's going to be in the center of it that will be more energy based. The two outer cannons are going to be the standard ones that come with the kit. The center cannon, I'm planning on utilizing this LED strip in there. These are RGB, individually addressable, so I should be able to come up with some pulsating and stuff like that. That'll come down the barrel. That should look kind of cool. I'm super new to programming, so that'll be a later thing. But the fabrication I can totally do without much problem. So there is that. And then I'm also, this whole back part here is really kind of dull. So what I am doing is I am going to build that up with sheet styrene. And yeah, it looks like a separate vehicle that's on there right now. Once the seams are all sealed together, this is going to be sanded down really neat. And then it's all going to be blended in. And once it's all primed the same color, it'll look a lot better. The back here, I plan on having ladders coming up, like a guardrail here, doors going in. This is going to be, and it's part of a diorama that will show this vehicle parked along with several support vehicles that I have. I got 2 of these little guys. They're manufactured by Dragon. I believe there's a line they call Panzer. It's also 144th. It's also where I got the little soldier guy. And so I've got 2 of these. I'm going to modify the back part here to look like this has been converted over to an energy weapon. Then I can maybe put an LED in it or something. So I'll have a couple of those as support vehicles. And then I also designed up the vehicles they had in Captain America, the First Avenger. As I find my camera here. There we go. I designed up these guys in CAD and 3D printed it. So this is their little high-speed attack vehicles that I printed out at the correct scale, and it needs a lot of finishing. The cannon I printed in 2 parts. That looks kind of bad. I gotta fill that or reprint it in one piece or something. You know, there's a lot of layer lines and all that, but it's a prototype. But several of these little guys with it, and that's gonna make a pretty cool looking little diorama. I'll have, you know, maybe a dozen soldiers running around, probably loading supplies from the Rat to the smaller vehicles, because not only is this thing essentially a rolling battleship, it would also kind of be the supply hub for that particular area. I mean, that it would just have tons of storage in there, as well as having a crew of, like, you know, 50 to 100 guys inside. So I'm going to make it a kind of a overnight stopping place. I don't have it yet. I'm considering I might get my hands on the 144th Hanbao, I believe it's called. It's a flying saucer that was theoretically supposed to have been designed by Nazis. I have no idea if it actually was. It certainly wasn't built, but it's a cool looking kit, and I can hydrify that thing as well, and have that kind of hovering over the area. So just kind of make this neat little diorama of a Hydra group that is kind of pushing their way into someplace. So this is what I've got right at the moment. I've got probably over a dozen kits that are in progress in one way or another. I've got my 1/8 Ecto 1, which I'm in progress on. Here is the engine for that. I'm pretty happy how that's coming out. I need to dry brush on some silver wear and tear and then gunk wash it, but I'm waiting to get my next shipment, because then I'll have all the wires and actually be able to basically complete the engine. So I'm waiting for that so I can do all the rest of that detailing. I'm not a car guy, but I'm wanting to do this up as well as possible because I love the Ecto. I also have a 1/24th Ecto that I'm working on, that I've been working on, and it's going to be more of my own interpretation rather than a straight up replica. The inside looks basically nothing like the original movies, and it's different from Ghostbusters 2. But that is what I've got at the moment. Hopefully this edits up nicely, and I will see you out there on the web. Bye. Okay, so shortly after recording that other video, I then continued working on this, and I wound up changing a whole bunch of stuff. So I ripped off that whole top part that I had up here, because I just didn't like the way that was coming out. It wasn't even enough, and it just didn't work for me. So what I have got is currently the roof is pulled off of that piece. Here's a couple of doors that I had made and a ladder I attached on that side. A door and a ladder on the other side. I'll show what this thing is in a moment. Here is the inside. So I've got a little piece there where there's a little wall with a ladder on it. That actually is just an opening underneath here. I've got a door on the inside. There we go. There's a door on the inside that goes to a separate little room. There's where you can see the outside door in here. This room area here is going to be sealed off. That it is going to have a piece up top, but it's not going to be the one I had previously. It's going to be more boxy. The piece over here was cut off of another component that came with the Panzer things from Dragon, and so that fits the crane. So when I bring up the main body, I've got that. You've got basically a supply area in here that can store basic supplies, a crane to bring things up, and then I have doors that will be attached to the outside, which basically just give the illusion like these are doors that were just kind of that when they open they just sort of level. There. They just sort of stack as they're opened up. And I think that's good enough for this basic idea. I'm probably not going to put those on until after I paint things because I don't want it too difficult to get on the inside of this box. So there is that. Let's see, what else did I do? I also added door handles to the doors that were already on the model. And basically I prefer this better with the crane up top, that I can use that to have items raised up. I've got 3 or 4 other cranes that are little photo etch pieces that if I wanted to I could have, you know, like cranes on the sides over here as well, you know, pulling up things. I've got plenty of little crewman guys that I can have standing around doing that sort of thing. But that is what I've got for that. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't believe so. But so yeah, that is my little update to that bit. So yeah, I changed around this whole back end here and spent a lot of time rebuilding the whole inside of that. So figured I might as well show that off. So, this is Dan, out.